You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and happy Earth Day. We have some really interesting celebrity birthdays or famous birthdays being celebrated today. So we'll go over those. We're also going to talk about the meaning behind Earth Day. How did it start? Why do we celebrate it? And then we'll go through the forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and pull a card. So whether you're joining me live, get comfortable, get your coffee, get ready to ask your questions. And if you're finding this video later, maybe over the weekend, I will add markers on the timeline and in the description so you can jump to whatever part of the forecast you are looking for. Give me 1 second though. Okay. Got to make sure the Wi-Fi situation is good. So let's just talk about some celebrity birthdays to start, because there are some heavy hitters today. Who would have thought that Amber Heard would be celebrating her birthday on trial or, on the witness stand? I don't know if she's the plaintiff or the defendant. I think she would be the plaintiff, but I'm not positive. That's a whole other story that we won't get into. Lots of astrologers are showing what's going on in their charts, but I will say, if you have been following along, Johnny Depp is having his exact Saturn return right now. Saturn is at 23 degrees Aquarius. His Saturn is at 23 degrees Aquarius. So just further proof that astrology is wild, friends. Also celebrating birthdays today, Machine Gun Kelly. Vladimir Lenin would have turned another year older if he was still alive. Jack Nicholson. Really some wild, very prominent people. Marshawn Lynch as well. So that's for April 22nd. Let's just take a peek over the weekend. Gigi Hadid will celebrate a birthday tomorrow. John Cena, Shirley Temple, Valerie Bertinelli, Dev Patel, Jamie King, George Lopez, Lee Majors. Wow. A lot of really prominent people who are Tauruses. And then on Sunday, Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand celebrates a birthday on Sunday. Kelly Clarkson, a Taurus. Jordan Fisher. Yeah, wow. Okay, so we're getting a vibe. Very powerful people born during this time. Very prominent people born during this time as well. I know someone in the comments earlier in the week said they had a birthday today. So happy birthday to them as well. Pretty sure his name was For Real Big Daddy on Instagram, so I don't know his real name, but happy birthday to you. And happy Earth Day to you, Roy. Thank you for being here. So let's talk about Earth Day just for a moment before we dive into the forecast. I like on these major holidays to just take a second to acknowledge what we're celebrating and why we are celebrating it. So who started Earth Day? Well, according to history.com, my go-to site for anything historical, Senator Gaylord Nelson was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1962. He was a Democrat from Wisconsin, and he was determined to convince the government that the planet was at risk. This was in the early 1960s. Really interesting. When we look at this time period, guess where Saturn was? In Aquarius. And Aquarian energy is very much about the collective, about humanitarian causes, about the whole Earth. And so, Saturn is in Aquarius right now. And it's very interesting that Earth Day had its roots during Saturn's transit through Aquarius about 60 years ago. And this was all the way through the 60s, kind of the age of Aquarius, if you will. In 1969 was, I believe, when Earth Day was kind of solidified. In the fall of 1969, Nelson announced the Earth Day concept at a conference in Seattle and invited the entire nation to get involved. So we've been celebrating Earth Day since the 60s, which is fairly recent when we look at a historical timeline. It was officially founded in 1970 as a day of education about environmental issues, and it happens on the 22nd, I believe, every year. Now it's a global celebration, though, so something America did right. We started Earth Day, and many places it's celebrated for the whole week. So this is a reminder that today is Earth Day. Take some time, be out in nature, celebrate the earth, all of the abundance it gives to us every day, the air we can breathe, the sun that we get our energy from, the plants that we eat. Happy Earth Day. Really cool to see the astrological connection there too. But you came for the astrology forecast, so let's jump into it, starting with today. The moon is in Capricorn today, and the moon is actually in its weakest position in Capricorn. It distances us from our intuition. The moon is at home in Cancer, the opposite sign. But as the moon's in its releasing phase, it'll reach the final quarter phase tomorrow, the peak releasing moment. When the moon's in Capricorn, we can really process our emotions through a practical lens. We're more concerned with understanding the why, the reasoning behind our emotions, than just allowing ourselves to fully feel them. So, you might feel a little distant from your actual emotions and feelings, but we can find nurturing under the Capricorn moon in our ancestral connections and being around our elders, our family members. We kind of tend to be a little bit more protective of our people when the moon is in Capricorn. And we also tend to enjoy long-term planning when the moon is in Capricorn. So it's not very much about the present moment. It's like understanding the big picture and the why behind everything. You might feel like you're in that state today, at least until the moon moves into Aquarius tonight. But the Capricorn moon is very busy this Friday, making a lot of different connections. So overnight, 3 a.m. Pacific time, the moon and Venus locked into this supportive angle. If you felt like you had especially sweet, loving dreams, you can thank this nice aspect. Venus transiting through the subconscious sign of Pisces, really adding some love and affection into our dream state. And don't be surprised if you were, traveling in the astral realms, dreaming, and themes of love were coming up in your subconscious state. But in our waking life, you might have just woken up feeling a little bit more affectionate as the moon was pulling away from this sextile to Venus, maybe more hopeful, more loving to start our Friday, which we will not complain about on a Venus day, right? We love the love. At 9 a.m., so this is the transit we're probably feeling at this moment, and I am loving it as a Mercury-ruled human. The moon at 22 degrees is harmonizing with Mercury. This was exact at 9 a.m., but we're still feeling it. So this is a nice 120-degree trine between the Capricorn moon and Mercury in Taurus. Now, when the moon and Mercury lock into this flowing, harmonious angle, we can express our emotions and communicate with ease, but we can do so in a really nice, grounded, practical way because both Mercury and the moon are in grounded earth signs, very stable signs. So speaking and writing come with ease right now, which is why I'm loving this energy while we're doing the live stream. It's making talking flow more easily, communicating with you flow more easily, and this can also bring through new ideas. So, it's just like if things feel like they just make sense this morning, that's because the moon and Mercury have this nice harmonious connection with each other. And pay attention to what ideas are coming through. Or we talked about the Capricorn moon not allowing us to fully be in our body and feel our emotions. Well, because it's harmonizing with Mercury, this could be a great morning if you're trying to work through something to journal about it or talk to someone else about it. And it could help you to process things, again, in that nice practical way that's supported by the Capricorn moon. At noon today, the moon forms that same harmonious angle with the North Node. So here's the moon, here's the north node. We'll just jump ahead a couple hours because why not? And when the moon locks into this trine with the north node, it can feel like a zap of insight that comes in about our purpose. This, again, a trine is like a flowing angle. It's easy. We can, like, our emotions are processing things with ease. Whatever's on the other end of that 120-degree angle is flowing through us very naturally. So when the moon locks into this harmony with the north node, it can give us a glimpse of our purpose, of the direction we're heading, especially because all week we've been talking about a lot of transformation, a lot of shifts happening. We had Mercury and Uranus meet up, I believe, last Sunday. Mercury, as you will see if you keep watching, is going to be very busy on Sunday again. So we're having a lot of realizations. Saturn is still squaring the north and south nodes, marking this tense, pivotal shift in the overall structure of our lives potentially, but especially whatever area of your life is ruled by Aquarius, could experience some lessons or some breakdowns in order to break through. This is a pivotal moment. That's what it feels like when Saturn is squaring off to the north and south nodes. And as the moon harmonizes with the north node and also connects to the south node at the same time, amidst all of the chaos or transformation or maybe confusion you're feeling, you could get that ping of insight that will feel like just a grounded nudge in the right direction, because again, we're dealing with the moon in Capricorn and the north node in Taurus, these grounded, practical earth signs. So it won't necessarily feel like this epiphany necessarily. It could just feel like, oh, like a nice shift of weight, or like this is where I'm supposed to be going. Just like almost like a physical little nudge to understand the lessons we're supposed to be learning right now. Shortly after that, the moon forms a sextile to Neptune. So we'll keep going with the chart here through the weekend. And 2 p.m., the moon at 24 degrees forms a nice 60-degree angle to Neptune in Pisces. And this is a nice aspect. You'll see shortly after this, the moon forms that same angle to Jupiter, because Jupiter and Neptune are still within 2 degrees of each other, technically still a conjunction, allowing us to lean into that imagination and hope and belief and dreamy energy. Definitely a welcome transit playing out in the background amongst all this transition we're experiencing. So when the moon and Neptune support each other, it can help us tap into our emotions, tap into our compassion and empathy. We're not in the most kind or connective mood necessarily with the moon in Capricorn, but Neptune's influence this afternoon, on Friday afternoon, can help us lighten up a bit and fantasize about the possibilities, get lost a little bit in our dream state. This could feel like a daydream, middle of the day, as the moon and Neptune are supporting one another. So, if you're feeling like you're trying to make sense of it all and you're processing a lot of things, you're understanding why everything is happening, maybe you're starting to put the pieces together, the moon and Neptune connecting to each other just help you lean into compassion for yourself and others in the process, because oftentimes change doesn't feel the most comfortable, right? And then at 5 p.m. is when the moon and Jupiter lock into the same supportive angle, helping us to see those silver linings, helping us to lean into optimism. We will, with these sextiles between the moon, Neptune, and Jupiter, we have to put in a little work. So we have to be willing to see the possibilities. We have to be willing to tap into that kind, compassionate part of ourselves. But if we do, it'll be easy to see the optimism and easy to imagine the possibilities, envision the possibilities with all of this Pisces energy connecting with the Capricorn moon, while also keeping our feet on the ground, keeping us in a stable place, helping us continue to move forward slowly, step by step with the moon in Capricorn. So, it's really nice when we have this support between Capricorn energy and Pisces energy, because it helps us stay grounded while still exploring all the ethereal realms, all the imagination, all the ideas. And when the moon is forming a sextile to Jupiter, just on a basic level on Friday night, it's just a nice little mood boost. Like, we're just going to feel good. We're going to feel optimistic about the night ahead, about the weekend ahead. Now, here's the heavy hitter transit for our Friday. I kind of buried the lead a little bit here. All of this positive, supportive energy throughout the day. The Capricorn moon's making all these positive connections, right? Then at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Friday night, the moon and Pluto come together in a conjunction. Okay, so expect a little intensity as this is happening on Friday night, and it could be slightly surprising because we've had positive transits all day, keeping the mood up, and then Friday night it's like, whoa, where did that come from? So when the moon meets up with Pluto in Capricorn, this could be an emotional realization of something that's very deep in our subconscious. Pluto likes to unearth our shadows, bring up the deepest parts of our psyche. And when the moon is conjunct Pluto, it's like an emotional realization of those things. So shadows could come to light. The Capricorn moon's ruler is Saturn, remember, and we just touched on this. Saturn is still forming that tense T-square to the north and south node, teaching us lessons we need to know to align us with our destiny, to align us with the lessons and the path we're supposed to be on. Really help us push into the energy we're meant to embody in this lifetime, which is the most uncomfortable energy for us. So this is like an emotional realization of the pivotal shifts that are happening around us when the moon meets up with Pluto. This is really a moment on Friday night to let the past die. Capricorn energy rules time. It rules the past. And so when the moon forms a conjunction to Pluto, it could be bringing up things that you thought you had closed the chapter on in the past, and maybe in fact you were kind of holding on to some resentment or some emotions about a past instance. So if that comes back up, fair warning, it will likely feel intense, but this is a moment to let it be released under this releasing moon and wipe the slate clean so you can continue moving in the right direction, continue taking those baby steps that will get you to where you're supposed to be. I will say though, the shadow of the moon forming a conjunction to Pluto, not only the intense emotions that could surface, but also it can give us a tendency to try to control or manipulate. Pluto's energy can be really obsessive and controlling, and when it's conjunct the moon, any emotions we feel are likely going to give us the urge to want to control the situation or want to manipulate the situation. So just be aware of that tendency in yourself and also in other people. When we're uncomfortable, a lot of the times our ego just wants to find a sense of control and safety. So beware of trying to create a false sense of control by poking other people's buttons or manipulating the situation if you are feeling intense emotions surface. And also recognize we're all experiencing the same energy tonight. So if other people are having their own shadows surface or confronting their own pain, fear is a big theme with the moon in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn meeting up. Fears could definitely surface tonight in order to be released under the final quarter moon tomorrow. So we've been in this releasing phase, which is really helping aid this really transformational energy. But don't be surprised if something surfaces. You thought you were through the transformation and something else could surface tonight, maybe even unexpectedly. Moon moves into Aquarius late Friday night. So the moon will be in Aquarius throughout the weekend for us, the eccentric sign of Aquarius. And when the moon is in Aquarius, we can kind of crave our space. We can crave our distance. But doing so can allow us to see things from a different perspective. So, when the moon is in Capricorn, especially with this conjunction to Pluto, it can feel like we're really in it with our emotions, like we're feeling things really intensely. When the moon moves into Aquarius, it can kind of just be like okay, let's step away, let's pull back so we can gather information and it's almost like zooming out from our emotions so we can be like, okay, what's really going on here? You know what I mean? And we could find ourselves acting or feeling a bit odd or different with the moon in Aquarius. So this is kind of a time to embrace doing things differently. Maybe even just embrace your inner weirdo, like let your freak flag fly with the moon in Aquarius. This is a weekend to feel liberated and free and independent, and it's really aligned with the releasing energy. So let's get into Saturday now. Let's talk about the moon a little bit more. So as I mentioned, on Saturday, we have the final quarter moon. Let me pull that up on our chart here, jump ahead a day or so. Okay, the moon in Aquarius. Here we go. So again, the moon in Aquarius is that liberated energy. It wants to be free. It wants to be independent. It can be very expansive, but in a way of like I said, like zooming out and gaining distance in order to see a different perspective. When the final quarter moon is in Aquarius, it's really asking us to free ourselves from any emotional baggage we've been carrying. If Aquarius was a person, it would travel light. It just wants to be free. Like it would be a carry-on only type of person. You know what I mean? So this is a time to like cut ties with anything that is weighing you down or keeping you stuck in a rut, not allowing you to evolve or just be how you want to be as the energy changes. The moon is going to enter its peak releasing phase early Saturday morning. And again, this could give us a new level of understanding. The final quarter moon and the first quarter moon are both marked by the moon squaring off to the sun. That's why we call it a quarter moon, because the sun and moon are at a 90-degree angle, directly illuminating half of the moon's surface from our vantage point here on Earth. So when the moon and the sun clash like this, it's why it can feel like a releasing energy, because it can kind of create internal discord. Like we are aware of the things that we need to get rid of, we need to purge. The Aquarius moon wants freedom, the Taurus sun wants stability. And when they lock into this tense 90-degree angle at 5 a.m. on Saturday, Pacific time, of course, it can cause that sense of stress or unease. We have this internal need for liberation and freedom and independence, but this external desire for stability and connection and sensual, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not abundance, satisfaction. That's the word I'm looking for. We want to feel satisfied and connected and like really grounded here in the 3D when the sun is in Taurus, but the Aquarius moon is like, we want to be on a different planet right now. Like, we need to get out of this place, So we might just feel off to start Saturday morning, but this can really show us, again, the final quarter moon is asking us what baggage do we need to get rid of. And with the sun in Taurus, this could literally be a beautiful day to like clean out, to like literally get rid of physical items that are holding you back. Or, what are you holding on to in your body physically? What have you been holding on to? As the sun is in Taurus, it's really illuminating our physical possessions, our physical value. And the moon in Aquarius is like, we don't need physical attachment. Like, we are spiritual beings that just want to bounce from place to place and be free, The moon on Saturday morning then forms a sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer. And I bring this up because we've had so much transformation going on. We're still walking through it for a little bit longer, and we're heading into eclipse season, which could just, it's like this T-square between Saturn and the North and South node are teaching us lessons and clearing space so those shifts can happen during eclipse season. That's how I see it, because Saturn is squaring the North and South node until the day before the solar eclipse within a degree. It will still be forming a loose square to the North and South node during the eclipses. So the new moon in Taurus will square off to Saturn in Aquarius, which again is bringing these intense lessons that we're learning, these harsh lessons that Saturn is teaching us. So the moon forming a sextile to Chiron, I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but on Saturday afternoon, I bring this up because it's going to help us integrate any pain points we've been navigating, any trauma that has surfaced or we've had to unearth as we're navigating these lessons. We could gain a new level of understanding with the moon in Aquarius and a new perspective about our healing journey. So be open to that. I love saying during an Aquarius moon, keep an open mind, stay open to possibilities, try to remain really flexible. And with Chiron's supportive influence here, it's like we can take one little step further or gain a different perspective along our healing journey. The moon goes quiet for most of the day Saturday until it squares off to Uranus at midnight. So Saturday night into Sunday morning could feel like a bit of a shift or a disruption, and I'll explain why even more so in just a moment when we pull up Sunday's chart. But when the moon squares off to Uranus, this can feel like an uncomfortable disruption or like a rapid shift, like an abrupt shift that we're experiencing. This energy is uncomfortable. Like it could feel like you're being blindsided or surprised by something when the moon squares off to Uranus. However, the moon is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So it's like there's this energy of change that we're already working with. And this could just feel like another push or forced step in the right direction, even if we don't want to go, it could feel like we're just being pushed, in the right direction. So this really is going to set the stage for the energy on Sunday. Mercury is very busy on Sunday, and Mercury is in Taurus. So it's really setting the stage for downloads, realizations, helping us to get into a new frame of mind Saturday night into Sunday. And yeah, don't be surprised if something crazy or wild or a surprise happens Saturday night or Sunday morning. Okay, now let's talk about Sunday because it's kind of wild how much we have going on, truly. Mercury is making 3 different connections almost all simultaneously. So let me pull up the chart and show you what this looks like before we go through each one and how they all connect. Okay, so here we are, Sunday's chart. Mercury is at 23 degrees in Taurus. Here he is, down here, the messenger planet. What else is at 23 degrees? Well, Mercury is at the same spot as the North Node. Okay, so we have a conjunction between Mercury and the North Node. In short terms, this is realizations about our purpose, realizations about our direction, realizations about the energy we're supposed to be embodying more and more in this lifetime. Also at 23 degrees is our friend Saturn. So not only is Mercury conjunct the North Node, but it's now in the midst of this T-square between Saturn and the North and South nodes, right? So this could bring a realization of the lessons we're learning. And it might not feel, again, the most comfortable. It might feel tense. It might feel like a realization that we don't really want to learn, but we're being forced to see. At the same time, or a few hours later, when Mercury, hits 24 degrees, it will form a sextile to Neptune over here. This is kind of the saving grace of the tension we're experiencing and maybe the harsh lessons we're learning, because Neptune comes in and allows us to see things and understand things in a more compassionate way, in a more empathetic way. It allows us to soften the boundaries and the need to have it all figured out and just kind of flow with whatever is coming through, use our imagination, envision possibilities. It's really adding a nice, gentle energy to the tension we will be experiencing as these realizations come through. So again, Mercury forms a conjunction to the North Node. Really, this could feel like new neurological maps being formed in your brain. Mercury rules our mental state. And with Mercury and Taurus, I really see this as like a physical influence on the way we communicate. So it could feel like new neural pathways are being formed for us to communicate in a way that is more aligned with how we're supposed to be in this lifetime. And the reason I keep saying that is because, just a brief overview, if you're not familiar with the North and South Node, the South Node is the energy we come into this life already embodying. You can kind of look at it as like the energy you were in past lives, right? And then the North Node is the energy we're here to move towards. We're here to become more like, but it's really uncomfortable for us. It's not our nature. It kind of pushes us outside of our comfort zone. So Mercury forming a conjunction to the North Node could feel like we're thinking in a way that's different from how we normally think. And we're starting to think in a way that kind of embodies or aligns with the energy we're supposed to be more like in this lifetime. Mercury squaring Saturn, again, forces us to realize those harsh lessons. It could even cause a difficulty communicating how we're feeling or communicating what we're thinking when Mercury and Saturn are clashing with each other. And it could bring up doubts, fears, worries. We could be prone to overthinking, finding ourselves resisting the ability to remain grounded. We just kind of want to check out or resist the lessons that Saturn is trying to teach us. So It's definitely an energy of discomfort, but in discomfort is often when we have our most profound realizations, when we grow the most, right? And then Mercury sextile to Neptune, as I mentioned, is just like our saving grace, allowing us to imagine, fantasize, envision all of the possibilities. Creativity can be a powerful tool to navigate any realizations you're having in a more gentle way, or in a way that isn't so like having to make sense of everything, you know? And spiritual pursuits are really favored when Neptune is involved too. So this could bring a spiritual realization, or reassurance in our ability to believe in the outcome that's going to be for the highest good for all. Neptune reminds us of this oneness, that we're supported, that there is a power greater than us that is guiding us along this path and putting these challenges in our path so we can grow, so we can become the best version of ourselves that we are meant to be in this lifetime. So Neptune's got our back. Neptune's like, don't worry, girl or guy, whoever, don't worry, like it's all happening for a reason. Feels uncomfortable right now. Lean into the discomfort and know that you're taken care of, that everything is going to work out, okay? It's like that, if you've seen that reel that's like, I got you, girl, or whatever, like, I got you, don't worry. You know, that's Neptune. What's going on with the moon on Sunday, though? Let's talk about that. So the moon is in Aquarius still on Sunday. Again, helping us see the different perspective, helping us detach a little bit from really being in the body and feeling all the emotions. That can be positive or negative, but it's really going to keep us in a headlock in a lot of ways. So resist the urge to overthink. Like throughout the weekend, it'll be easy to think about, you know, why everything is happening and just kind of get stuck in a mental loop. So I would recommend taking that space for your mind, not just for yourself from other people, but like allowing yourself time to detach from the mental stimulus that's going on. Also, the moon in Aquarius in this releasing phase, I'm hearing to detach from collective consciousness as well. Like we don't need to buy into the beliefs everybody else is believing. We don't need to think about all the things everybody else is thinking about. This is really a time to go within and figure out what's important to you right now as an individual, not your mom, not your dad, not your partner, not your children. Like really focus on what's going on with you as an individual, separate from the collective or your community. This paving our own path in that way, like separating from what everybody else wants us to do or how we're supposed to think, can actually allow more profound insights to come through and help us integrate all the lessons and all the changes we're walking through right now. Okay, so the moon on Sunday meets up with Saturn and squares the North Node. So not only do we have Mercury now involved in this T-square between Saturn and the North and South nodes, but the moon will be involved in the T-square between the North and South nodes on Sunday afternoon. So, you know, if you've been feeling like this tension, like we talked about earlier in the week with this T-square with Saturn, you've been feeling the transformation, you've been feeling the lessons, Sunday could bring that aha moment, that realization with Mercury and the moon now both involved in this T-square, really forcing us to bring those downloads through, to understand those lessons. Like I feel like a broken record, I keep saying that, but it's like all of the energy is really supporting understanding and growth and learning. Like lessons. And finding the blessings in the lessons, right? Finding like why we're learning these things. What is the higher perspective here? Why is this all happening for us, not to us? Challenges could bring through those rapid realizations too. So I would invite you, if you come up to roadblocks, if you come up to fear, if you come up to doubt, if you face a challenge, stay open to it. Ask, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to know? Like that's really going to help you move through this energy so much more easily than if you resist challenges or resist whatever the universe is putting in your path. So really try to keep the lesson in focus, pull the lesson, say no thank you to the pain that comes along with it. And the final transit we'll talk about this weekend, again, involves this T-square with Saturn. The moon squares off to Mercury in the T-square as well. That's 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon. So, you know, it could bring a clash between our thoughts and feelings when this happens, with Mercury ruling our mental state, as I mentioned, the moon ruling our emotional body. we might be grounding new insights. We might be experiencing these profound realizations, understanding the lessons. But the moon in Aquarius, again, it has the tendency to just keep us locked in our head. And it could take our body some time to catch up. So just be mindful of that. Like, you might have an adjustment period to integrate all the things that are coming through. You know, you're watching this and you're like, I'm going to have these profound realizations. I'm going to have all these insights, but give your body some time. I was just watching Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown on HBO Max, which is, I haven't finished it, but it's amazing, by the way. And she talks about in the first episode how we feel things in the body. That is how we feel things first. That's where emotions are processed in our body. So with the moon in Aquarius, it's like our mental state is active, you know, like we're grounding in these things. We're realizing, we're like, oh, there's the lesson. Let's pull it. Let's do it. But our body could take a little bit of time to integrate and catch up to the things that we're realizing. So just give yourself patience, give yourself some time. Know that this is a very slow, transformative process with Saturn squaring off to the north and south nodes. It's not just going to be like one lesson that we learn and it's one and done. It's probably going to be a series of challenges, doubts, fears that keep coming up in order for you to see the bigger lesson over a longer period of time. All right. Whew. Yes, we are cosmic besties. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. We need some like merch that says cosmic besties or something. Let's do an overview of the weekend and then we'll do our 3-card pull for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, profound realizations, lessons learned. That's the forecast for this weekend. We have the final quarter moon in Aquarius, but first the moon in Capricorn meets up with Pluto, marking this emotional transformation, highlighting our deepest fears, allowing them to surface in order to be released. The final quarter moon moves into Aquarius, allowing us to detach, to zoom out, and to let go of emotional baggage, to liberate ourselves from anything that's been holding us back. But really the action happens on Sunday because Mercury meets up with the North Node while simultaneously squaring off to Saturn and getting support from Neptune. This can feel like those lessons we've been talking about all week finally grounding into reality, finally coming through. This could be insights, realizations. It's going to feel like a very active weekend mentally, and that could bring some unease with our body trying to play catch up. So know that there are realizations that are likely this weekend for all of us. It's just probably not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to feel good. As challenges are coming up for you, as you're hitting any roadblocks or fears, welcome them. Ask, what are you here to show me? Be open to the lessons and be open to your own growth. You know, keep the lessons in focus, and that will really help you navigate any discomfort with ease. Give yourself time, give yourself grace, and just know that we are in a very transformational period leading up to eclipse season. We're in eclipse season now, and this is a time when rapid shifts are possible. Get ready. We never know what's going to happen during an eclipse season, but often it's when things shift into alignment very quickly and maybe even very surprisingly. So let me know as you're watching this, what's coming through for you this weekend, what's coming through with this T-square between Saturn and the North and South Node, what lessons are you learning, what roadblocks are you facing, is this aligned for you, or are you kind of waiting for the lesson? Because that's a possibility as well. All right, let's go ahead and pull some cards for our weekend. I'm going to pull from the Modern Witch Tarot deck. I love our tarot, 3-card tarot pulls on Fridays, but I always give the fair warning that I am not a tarot expert. So I'm going to pull up the guidebook here, make sure I have a tarot expert's guidance when I am reading off these descriptions to you. This is the time, as always, to ask your questions of me, to ask your questions of the universe, get any final guidance you're looking for if you're joining me live. And, you know, this is like a regular deck. I'm going to do a classic card shuffle today. What's it called? A bridge. I feel like a poker dealer. But I think it'll help us shuffle this up a little better. So How many shuffles should we do? I'm feeling 4. Feeling 4. This is also for fans of ASMR. If you like the sounds of card shuffling, that wasn't a very good one. One more. Give us a good one. I wish I could do it like so you can see. I need one of those fancy cameras, you know, that they have on like poker tables, like an overview. One day, when we get the budget, we'll have a card camera. Okay. What do we need to know about this upcoming weekend? 3 of Pentacles is our first card for Friday. Then we have the 6 of Wands for Saturday and the Queen of Swords for Sunday. All right. What does it mean? What does it all mean? Let's start with the 3 of Pentacles for Friday. Give me a second as I scroll to the right page with our digital guidebook, very sustainable for Earth Day. And let me know also, how are you celebrating Earth Day? Do you have any ideas or inspiration that you'd like to share for those of us who are still trying to figure out what we're going to do on Earth Day to celebrate Mama Gaia? Okay. 3 of Pentacles, where are you? Here we go. For Friday, the 3 of Pentacles, your passion for learning and improving your skills is going to pay off. You've been faithfully dedicating yourself to a project or to your job, and someone above you is looking to reward you for all of this hard work. You have the talent to see it through, and soon you'll be where you want to be. Love that. Okay, thank you for the reassurance. I think this is also very indicative of the positive energy we're feeling throughout Friday. But we love a card that's like that's like a cheerleader in a card. Like, good job, just keep doing it and you're going to be rewarded. Okay, for our Saturday card, we have the 6 of Wands. What message is the 6 of Wands bringing through for Saturday? Okay, a V for victory. You've just won a big battle and now you can enjoy the rewards. Your admiring supporters cheer you on in a victory parade. And since you've just accomplished something big, success is yours. Enjoy your moment and let your ego get that boost. Love this for us for Saturday. This really feels like the universe saying, like, you've been doing the hard work, you've been learning the lessons, you've been allowing the hard shit to come up. Celebrate yourself. Give yourself a V for victory. You just conquered a big battle. So know that, like, it sounds like a lot of us have been doing the work and we might be kind of getting over the hump of the lessons that we're learning this weekend. And boy, I sure hope so. Okay, and then our Sunday card is the Queen of Swords. And the description for that is for Sunday. Remember, Sunday is the day where we have all this Mercury activation, all these realizations coming through. The Queen has unflinching perception and can cut to the truth of the matter in seconds. She can be blunt, brutally honest, and very forward. But just because she's truthful doesn't mean she's lacking compassion and humor. She's still understanding because she can truly see the entire situation for what it is. If you are the Queen, it's time to set your emotions aside and try to view things intelligently with clarity and honesty. Wow. If there's any takeaway from this video, it is the Queen of Swords, I think, because it's really indicative of, again, these realizations that we're having. And she can be blunt, brutally honest, and very forward. Remember that Mercury is squaring off to Saturn. It's not going to make our words feel very nice or gentle, but that doesn't mean she's lacking compassion and humor. Remember, we have Neptune in the mix, kind of lightening that lesson we're learning or that realization we're having. So this is reminding us to truly see the entire situation for what it is. Try to view things intelligently with clarity and honesty. The moon in Aquarius will help us do that, really help us tap into our intelligence and our ability to see new perspectives. Love this. Love these cards. So positive. Oh, good. Exactly what you needed to hear. Amazing. That makes me really happy. And I hope everything is working out for you. I know we were communicating a week or two ago, so I hope everything is unfolding in a way that you're hoping for. All right, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful Earth Day. I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead. If you are local to the Sacramento area, I will be out at Goddess Festival at Araceli Farms in Dixon this Sunday offering mini readings. So come out, say hi in person. I would love to meet you and put a face to your names and just give you a big hug if you're open to that. But if not, I will see you right back here on Monday morning to talk through the energy of the week ahead leading up to that solar eclipse at the end of next week. It's going to be a wild ride, friends, but I will be with you holding your hand every step of the way. So I hope you have a beautiful Earth Day. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you right back here whenever you can make it next. Until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.